Hello, welcome back to Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen. We're in the gardening series, and we're going to be planting in some starts early. This is February 1st, and this is my February garden and my February greenhouse. Stay tuned. Hello, welcome back to Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen. It's warm in the greenhouse. It's 60 degrees from this, the heat coming from this little catalytic propane heater I have down here. And a bunch of stuff is happening here in my greenhouse on February. Let me start up here. We have my onion sets that I started from seed. I went ahead and thinned those out and we're watering those in, so they are taking root and starting to green up. I don't see any activity from the garlic I planted yet, but we'll be patient and wait. Over here in this top bin, we have my radishes. Look how tall these are gotten. And this is the black Spanish radish that I have as a gift from a friend or a viewer. So these are sitting there and growing like crazy. I quit watering them with warm water, I wanted to point out. So once they sprouted, I just do regular cool water. The warmth of the water was primarily to get the soil temperature warm enough and then the heat to help open up and saturate through that protective seed coating, so the seeds will sprout and germinate a little bit quicker. It's just a method I kind of like figured out. So peppers, yellow peppers, I don't see any sign of anything happening in this little bin, but the lettuce is sprouting in both of my bins. There's a little bit of lettuce. I got two different varieties in here, but they are sprouting. And then over here I've got spinach. I'm really excited about the salad crops, because my wife and I do consume a lot of salad. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can't keep salad growing, at least in the greenhouse, year round. And then I've got all these layers that I've got planted. These tubs that have the tomato starts and cucumbers, zucchini, cantaloupe, and Swiss chard have not sprouted yet. But my onion sets, they're growing. I continue watering them. And then, of course, we planted flowers just recently in these. I didn't expect those to sprout this early, but we have anticipation of the flowers sprouting and growing. And this little house will be so full of food and flora and fauna. Yes. So a couple ideas I just thought about today. I'm not going to plant anything on the floor right now because I do want to put a cement flooring in. But I'm rethinking the barrels. Those are okay for the cooler months, but I'm just going to go ahead and empty them out, drain them, and then set them outside during the summer months because we don't need them in here in the summer. So I can utilize that space. I have a bunch of 5-gallon buckets that we can put soil in, and I can actually grow produce in here along the back wall and trellis. Like I can trellis tomatoes, I can trellis some cucumbers in here, and some other variety of crops that I need the big headspace to grow. And then out here in front, I can grow some shorter crops in buckets. So I'm just going to go ahead and reserve that area this year and see how well it does. But hey, what do you think about these tubs up here on the shelves to give me extra space for growing? Now I do have set up, I want to plant some starts in here right now. I'm going to start some dark zucchini and some squash, crooked squash. I've got this starter tray and I've got these little cups, And these were left over from the flats of strawberries that I purchased last year and grew. And we successfully grew strawberries in here, up here on those gutters that I converted. I just mounted on the wall and filled them with soil and planted the strawberries. Now they're still there. I'm going to clip those out. We're going to water them in and see if they come back. I hope they do. The soil I'm using is the super soil potting soil over here. We're going to go ahead and open that bag and start filling these little containers. And then we'll go ahead and plant some stuff. Then we'll water them in. I always keep a utility knife in here because I never know when I'm going to use them. Yep. So the super soil is what I've been using all along on my garden beds. And in here, everything is using this super soil because this is what my plant department, local plant department hardware store has available. And so that's why we're using this. Now I'm going to go ahead and make sure they all fit in this tray. I need to get them started in here, and depending, I will not put them out this year until after the last frost. Last year we made that mistake, put them out too early. There was another frost and oops, killed them. But I had some in reserve behind here and we were able to grow some, but then for some reason they died. So this is ready. We're going to go start planting. I'm going to plant half of them in the zucchini and half of them in the crookneck squash because we love both. And the zucchini is, I'm going to make some zoodles, some nice healthy zoodles, so we can have a non-pasta in our diet. So I don't know if that's all that great for you. So I'm going to plant 3 seeds in each little pot. What we'll do is we'll just leave the biggest and strongest of the 3, or we just may leave all 3 of them in there and just transplant them into a bigger pot as they grow out. Well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seeds left, so I might as well just put 4 of them. Not all of them will grow. That's okay. Now I'm going to do these Dixie hybrid. At least they're not GMO, but they are a hybrid. We're going to add these to this soil, and I'm going to do, well, it depends on how many seeds I have in here. I'm just going to try to plant all the seeds. Yep, all the seeds. Looks like I may get 3 per pot. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Uno, dos, tres. Cuatro, dos, tres. Uno, dos, tres. And I didn't have enough for all the pots. That's okay. We'll just put 2 in some pots and 3 in others. I can harvest these, cut them, and we can put them in freezer bags and freeze them after we blanch them, and freeze them separately and preserving them. I'll show you guys how I do that when that time comes. Now we water them in. Now I added some organic fish fertilizer to my water bucket before I filled it with water so it'll mix up really well. We're going to water it in really good. And there we'll have it set right here for germinating. But they're actually in my way for my next project because I want to check on my new worms. So I'll set them aside over here for right now. And then we're going to check in on the worms, because I've got some more goodies for them. Yep, there they are, thriving. You see them squirming in there? Look at that. They are going to compost this and turn it into nice, yummy stuff. Speaking of yummy stuff, I have some bananas in here and coffee grounds. And I understand that's what they love. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my waterer and then moisten this down a little bit because I don't want the worms to be totally dried out. And then we'll just cover them back up again with this cardboard. And this cardboard tries to keep it from evaporating and drying out too much. Yeah, we want to control the evaporation. So we're done with the worms. We've looked in on them, seen how well they're going to be doing. I had another thought. And just observing nature, and that's how we can learn so much, just by slowing down and spending some time out in the forest and then seeing how God has designed everything to grow. And you know, the soil, especially around trees and other places, this top layer of soil is just really rich in enzymes and good bacteria and all kinds of beneficial organisms. So I thought about going up to my forest and grabbing a bucket of that soil because it has all the enzymes in it and then the microbes that are suitable for helping the worms with breaking down and making the soil healthy and then growing, and it creates a really great compost. And that way I can take part of this compost and put it in my regular compost bin out in the garden and then help that along on composting, because soil has the already organisms in it that are working on breaking down the material that falls from the plants and dyes and other stuff. So it's something to think about. So there's something else I didn't point out, is that that Swiss chard that's growing in here, that thing has been growing there for 3 years now. Interesting. Just observing what plants like to grow on and where they're finding their health and nutrition. So it doesn't get watered. It's probably getting water from subterranean, but it's still thriving. That grew from a seed that fell to the floor. Well, that's my tour of the February greenhouse. Can't show you too much of the garden because it's dark out, unless I put it on infrared night vision. You guys can see. Nah, I just wait for another show to show you that. But that's my ideas for the greenhouse coming up. Tell me what you think. Leave a comment. And also, please click that share button. Sharing my videos on your social media platforms helps out my channel a lot. Something else you could do is subscribe, then click that bell icon. That will give you the alert to new videos as they're produced and made live on the channel. Click the like button, and also be safe and always be kind. We'll see you guys in the next adventure, all right? Be safe. Bye.